Hey guys, it's Caleb back in with Goosebumps, the final Goosebumps month, because I'm all out of Goosebumps after this month. Today, we have Goosebumps, Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. And, well, there's some derpy looking gnomes who don't look like that one TV show on Nickelodeon I used to watch. Was it David the Gnome? I don't remember. But, yeah, those were friendly, these are not. And then there was, like, some flamingos and stuff. The little caption says, "Keep off the grass. Get off, this is my grass." To the back, "Someone's been stalking in my garden. How would you know this? Did you see a peeping Tom back there? I hope not, 'cause that would be terrifying. 2 pink flamingos, a whole family of plaster skunks. Joe Burton's dad loves those tacky lawn ornaments, but then he brings home 2 ugly lawn gnomes, and that's when the trouble starts. Late at night, when everyone's asleep. Someone's creeping in the garden, whispering nasty things, smashing melons, squashing tomatoes. No way 2 dumb old lawn ornaments could be causing all the trouble, is there? Reader beware, you're in for a scare. Goosebumps." So let's go. Clack, clack, clack. Chapter 1. Clack, clack, clack. The ping pong ball clattered over the basement floor. "Yes!" I cried as I watched Mindy chase after it. It was a hot, sticky June afternoon. "I know, kitty." "Meow? Meow." The first Monday of summer vacation, and Joe Burton had just made another excellent shot. "That's me, Joe Burton. I'm 12, as all the characters of Goosebumps are for some reason. Why they can't be any younger or older than 12, I'm not quite sure. And there is nothing better than slamming the ball in my older sister's face and making her chase after it. Well, that's very rude, and granted it's a ping pong ball, but what if that, actually hurt her or something? In fact, if somebody constantly threw a ball in my face, I think I'd drop my ping pong paddle, walk over to the other side of the little board thingy, and start punching them in the face. See how much they like it. I don't think they would." "I'm not a bad sport. I just like to show Mindy that she's not as great as she thinks she is." "At ping pong? Because you're dick? I don't know." "You might guess that Mindy and I do not always agree on things. The fact is, I'm really not like anyone else in the family. I am, by the way, a huge giant talking cock. Mindy, Mom, and Dad are all blonde, skinny. Why do we always have these characters who everybody looks the same in their family but one person? Why can you not think of another way for a character to talk about themselves and their family?" The cat agrees if you can hear her in the background. "Skinny and tall, I have brown hair, and I'm kinda pudgy and short," Mom says. "I haven't had my growth spurt yet, and I don't really give 2 shits. So I'm a shrimp, and it's hard for me to see over the ping pong net. But I can still beat Mindy with one hand tied behind my back. As much as I love to win, Mindy hates to lose, and she doesn't play fair at all. Every time I make a great move, she says it doesn't count. Joe, kicking the ball over the net is not legal. It's not legal. Why would you do that unless you guys wanted to experiment in weird ways you could play ping pong without a fucking paddle? That's right, JC. She whined as she scooped out the ball from under the couch. Give me a break, I cried. All the ping pong champions do it. Granted, I don't watch many ping pong championships or games in general, so I don't know if they actually do this shit, but maybe they do, maybe they don't, but you usually don't use your feet in ping pong. Like, at all. They call it the soccer slam. Mindy rolled her huge green eyes. Oh, please, she muttered. My serve. Please, really? Next you're going to be saying everything's da bomb. I hated that so much in middle school. It's like chillaxing. I hate stupid. Can't stand it. She muttered my serve. Mindy is weird. She's probably the weirdest 14-year-old in town. Why? I tell you why. Take her room. Mindy arranges all her books in alphabetical order. By author. 'Kay. So? Do you believe it? I have some semblance of arranging my things in order. Because I have both novels, manga, Korean comics, original raw comics I got from Hoshcho, some Shonen Jump and Yen Plus magazines, some how to draw books, how to draw manga, some other, like, Western comics, like Bone and Elephant Men, some doujinshi, some just generic shit I still have in high school for some reason. I got a lot of shit and I organize it based on either if it's Western or Eastern. Because if you have manga, you know, unless it's flipped, like some of my Sailor Moon books are, you know, it reads from right to left instead of left to right. And I like to order them that way. And then I order my Western left to right books differently. That's just how I prefer to do it. And when I moved into the new apartment after Mom died, I did take the time to organize, like, all my manga. Because I have a lot of manga. Alphabetically. Not by author, necessarily, but by actual title. Unless I had, like, all my clamp stuff is together. All my stuff by, I can't remember what her name is, but the lady who wrote Fake. I have some of her other stuff, and I group all that together. I just like to do it that way. I don't know. I don't think it's really all that weird. And she fills out a card for each one. Why? Like, what for? She files them in the top drawer of her desk, her own private card catalog. Actually, that might not be such a bad idea. Do you know how many books I've loaned to people who say they're going to give them back in a timely manner and they don't? I can agree with this lady. I think that's a good idea. Then you're like, oh, this person had this book when I let them borrow it. I should go get that from them. If they claim they don't fucking know, well, I have their name on my fucking cards. Then they owe me fine money for the fact that it's it's lost now. If she could, she'd probably cut the tops off the books so that they'd all be the same size. So what you're trying to tell me is maybe your sister's OCD? That's entirely possible. She is so organized. Her closet is organized by color. The reds come first, then the oranges, then the yellows, then the greens, blues, and purples. She hangs her clothes in the same order as the rainbow. Again, if she has OCD, that's kind of a thing sometimes with them. Now, keep in mind I might have my things mixed up, but I think that's OCD. At dinner, she eats around her plate clockwise. Really, I've watched her. First her mashed potatoes, then all her peas, and then her meatloaf. I don't know why I said that strangely. If she finds one pea in her mashed potatoes, she totally loses it. Weird. Really weird. Again, if she has... Would you really call that a disorder? Obsessive-compulsive disorder is what OCD is. Yeah, that is a disorder, because disorder's right there in the name. See, I don't think about this shit, because I'm used to it just being OCD. And I don't actually think about what the words mean, I just know what it is. Now, that doesn't mean I fully have the concept of what it is for people who have this disorder. So I can't fully say that what I'm telling you is the truth, based, or just what I've seen, like, in books and movies and shit. But, yeah, this is kind of what she's doing here. Me, I'm not organized. I'm cool. Because not being serious about keeping my shit clean is, like, the epitome of being awesome. I'm not serious like my sister. I can be pretty funny. My friends think I'm a riot. Everyone does, except Mindy. Come on, serve already, I called out, before the end of the century. Mindy stood on her side of the table, carefully lining up her shots. She stands in exactly the same place every time, with her feet exactly the same space apart. Her footprints are worn into the carpet. 10-8 and serving. Do you have to say serving? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much ping pong is like volleyball, or why two kids would really care that much about actually keeping score. We'd just be like, I don't know, if it was my family, we'd just hit the ball until somebody won and be like, yay, your turn. Or if it was in, like, gym class that one time, we laughed our asses off because we couldn't keep the funkin' ping pong ball on the table or in the paddles. We'd hit it and it'd go flying. Mindy finally called out. She always calls out the score before she serves. Oh, so that's just her doing that, I guess. When she swung her arm back. Then she swung her arm back. I held the paddle up to my mouth like a microphone. She pulls her arm back, I announced. The crowd is hushed. It's a tense moment. Joe, stop acting like a jerk. That's not really a jerk, but it is a little douchey, but not really. She snapped. I have to concentrate. On what? Well, I don't know. Some people are like that, I guess, with games. I love pretending I'm a sports announcer. It drives Mindy nuts. Mindy pulled her arm back again. She tossed the ping-pong ball up into the air and, a spider, I screamed, on your shoulder. Why would that be scary or something? Mindy dropped the paddle and began slapping her shoulder furiously. The ball clattered onto the table. Gotcha! I cried. My point. No, that doesn't count. You cheated. You're being a dick on purpose. That does not count. And I will come over there myself and beat you with this book because that is dick of you. And if you can't play fun or fairly, you don't deserve to play at all. No way, Mindy shouted angrily. You're just a cheater, Joe. She smoothed the shoulders of her pink t-shirt carefully. She picked up the ball and swatted it over the net. At least I'm a funny cheater. That's not really funny. Like, at all. I replied. I twirled around in a complete circle and belted the ball. It bounced once on my right side before sailing over the net. Foul, Mindy announced. You're always fouling. I waved my paddle at her. Get a life, I said. It's a game. It's supposed to be fun. Yeah, and you're also supposed not to be a dork and actually play the game. Unless you guys really don't want to play, and then can both be assholes, but whatever. I'm beating you, Mindy replied. That's fun. I shrugged. Who cares? Winning isn't everything. Where did you read that? She asked. In a bubblegum comic? In case people are too young to know, used to, depending on the type of gum you buy, they'd print like little comics on the bubblegum wrapper. I don't know if they still do that, but it used to be a thing. Then she rolled her eyes again. I think someday her eyes are going to roll right over her head. Oh, because you're clever. I rolled my eyes too, back into my head, until only the whites showed. Neat trick, huh? Cute, Joe, Mindy muttered. Real cute. You better watch out. One day your eyes might not come back down, which would be an improvement. Lame joke, because yours wasn't lame. I replied. Very lame. Mindy lined up her feet carefully again. She's in her serve position. I spoke to my paddle. She's nervous. She's Joe, Mindy whined. Quit it. I don't think she's whining. I think she's getting pissed. And she's about to come over there like I am and beat the fucking shit out of you with that paddle. She tossed the ping-pong ball into the air. She swung the paddle and, gross, I shouted. What's that big green glob hanging out of your nose? Mindy ignored me this time. She tapped the ball over the net. I dove forward and whacked it with the tip of my paddle. It spun high over the net and landed in the corner of the basement, between the washing machine and the dryer. Mindy jogged after the ball on her long thin legs. Let's say leg, and I'm like, oh, I didn't say the S. Hey, where's Buster? She called out. Wasn't he sleeping next to the dryer? Buster is our dog, a giant black Rottweiler with a head the size of a basketball. He loves snoozing on the old sleeping bag we keep in the corner of the basement, especially when we're down here playing ping-pong. Everyone is afraid of Buster, yeah, for no reason really, for about 3 seconds. Then he starts licking them with his long wet tongue, or rolls onto his back, and begs to have his belly scratched. Where is he, Joe? Mindy bit her lip. He's around here somewhere, I replied. Why are you always worrying about Buster? He weighs over 100 pounds. He can take care of himself. Mindy frowned. Not if Mr. McCall catches him. Remember what he said last time Buster chomped on his tomato plants? Mr. McCall is our next-door neighbor. Buster loves the McCall's yard. He likes to nap under their huge shady elm tree, and dig little holes all over their lawn, and sometimes big holes, and snack on their vegetable garden. Last year, Buster dug up every head of Mr. McCall's lettuce, and ate his biggest zucchini plant for dessert. I guess that's why Mr. McCall hates Buster. Yeah, and considering how much work goes into a garden, I would hate the dog too. He's going to turn him into fertilizer. Or maybe animal control and have your animal taken away from you if you can't, keep it under control. My dad and Mr. McCall are the two best gardeners in town. They're nuts about gardening, totally nuts. You know, he could actually probably call the cops in that case, and It's explained to them that he's probably purposely letting the dog over into the other's yard to trounce his garden to, I don't know, win a gardening event or something. People do fucking weird shit when they're jealous of others, okay? Gardeners in town. They're nuts about gardening. Totally nuts. I think working in a garden is kind of fun, too. But I don't let that get around. My friends think gardening is for nerds. Because only nerds can plant vegetables. And maybe some fruit, depending on what kind of trees you happen to have. Or, I don't know, maybe you have like small grapevines or something. Dad and Mr. McCall are always battling it out at the annual garden show. Mr. McCall usually takes first place, but last year Dad and I won the blue ribbon for our tomatoes. Gee, I wonder what he thinks about that dog ruining his crops. That drove Mr. McCall crazy. When Dad's name was announced, Mr. McCall's face turned as red as our tomatoes. So Mr. McCall is desperate to win this year. He started stocking up on plant food and bug spray months ago. Wouldn't it be... Well, I mean, I don't know about, like, garden shows and things, but in the case of a gardening show, I would think organic would be the best. I mean, maybe they have, like, different categories for, like, you know, tomatoes and things grown with bug spray and all that, and then organic stuff. I mean, I don't know. I've never been to one. I sometimes go to the farmer's market, but I haven't been, like, in years, so who knows? And he planted something that nobody else in North Bay grows. Strange orange-green melons called, Kassabas. I don't know what that is. I've never even heard of that. Unless I'm mispronouncing it. Dad says that Mr. McCall had made a big mistake. He says the Kassabas will never grow any bigger than tennis balls. The growing season in Minnesota is too short. Well, no, if he has like a greenhouse or something. McCall's garden loses, I declared. Our tomatoes are definitely going to win again this year. And thanks to my special soil, they'll grow as big as beach balls. So will your head, Mindy shot back. I stuck out my tongue and crossed my eyes. It seemed like a good reply. Okay, what's with your special soil you're talking about here? You're not going to elaborate on that? Well, hopefully you do later, otherwise there's no point in talking about it now. Whose serve is it? I asked. Mindy was taking so long I lost track. It's still my serve, she replied, carefully placing her feet. We were interrupted by footsteps, heavy booming footsteps on the stairs behind Mindy. Who is that? Mindy cried. And then he appeared behind her, and my eyes nearly bulged right out of my head. Oh no, I screamed. It's McCall. Knowing full well that the dog likes to fuck with his shit, neither of these two idiots thought, hey, we should go look for the dog just to make sure he's not fucking with shit. Chapter 2. Joe, he roared. The floor shook as he stomped toward Mindy. All the color drained from Mindy's face. Her hand grasped her paddle so tightly that her knuckles turned white. Because this guy is so fucking scary. He's not even after you. He's after your brother. She tried to swing around to look behind her, but she couldn't. Her feet were frozen in her ping-pong ball footprints. McCall's hands balled into two huge fists, and he looked ready, and he looked really, really angry. Also, how is he in your basement? Wouldn't your dad or mom have, like, stopped this? He can't just come into your house. Not unless, like, You idiots left the basement door or some shit open. He can't even come into your yard legally. I don't think. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it has to be fenced off. I don't know. I live in a place where people just walk through our yards. I'm not sure. McCall's hands balled into two huge fists, and he looked really, really angry. I'm going to get you, and this time I'm going to win. Throw me a paddle? What? What? So he's pissed about the dog, I take it. But he's going to make them play against him in a ping pong match? What? You jerk, Mindy sputtered. I knew it wasn't Mr. McCall. I knew it was Moose. Moose is Mr. McCall's son and my best friend. His real name is Michael, but everyone calls him Moose, even his parents. Uh-huh. So I guess this is a friend of yours who you pissed off or something? Whatever. Moose is the biggest kid in the whole 6th grade, and the strongest. His legs are thick as tree trunks, and so is his neck. And he's very, very loud, just like his dad. Mindy can't stand Moose. She says he's gross. He's a gross slob. I think he's cool. Yo, Joe! Did you really just make that reference? Seriously? Moose bellowed. Where's my paddle? His big arm muscles bulged as he reached out to grab mine. I pulled my hand back, but his beefy hand slapped my shoulder so hard that my head nearly rolled off. I'm sure it did. Whoa! I yelled. Moose let out a deep laugh that shook the basement walls, and then he ended it with a burp. That's gross. Moose, you're disgusting. Yeah, I agree. Mindy groaned. Moose scratched his dark brown crew cut. Gee, thanks, Mindy. That's not a compliment, sir. Are you slow? Thanks for what? She demanded. For this, he reached out and snatched the paddle right out of her hand. Moose swung Mindy's paddle around wildly in the air. He missed a hanging lamp by an inch. Ready for a real game, Joe? Shit. Okay, I know some people are not, like, ballerinas or gymnasts or anything, but you would think if he's this big, he would pay more attention to his surroundings and shit. Because I don't think he wants to actually get electrocuted or walk into door frames. He threw the ping-pong ball into the air and drew his powerful arm back. Wham! The ball rocketed across the room. It bounced off 2 walls and flew back over the net toward me. Foul! Mindy cried. That's not allowed. Cool! I exclaimed. I dove for the ball and missed. Moose has an amazing serve. Moose slammed the ball again. It shot over the net and whacked me in the chest. Ow. But then again, it's a ping-pong ball, so I don't know how much that would actually hurt. Block. Hey, I cried. I rubbed the stinging spot. Good shot, huh? He grinned. Yeah, but you're supposed to hit the table, I told him. Moose pumped his fat fists into the air. Super Moose, he bellowed, strong as a superhero. My friend Moose is a pretty wild guy. Mindy says he's a total animal. I think he's just got a lot of enthusiasm. I served while he was still throwing his arms around. Hey, no fair, he declared. Moose charged the table and clobbered the ball and flattened it into a tiny white pancake. I groaned. That's bowl number 15 for this month, I announced. I grabbed the little pancake and tossed it into a blue plastic milk crate on the floor. The crate was piled high with dozens of flattened ping-pong balls. Hey, I think you broke your record, I declared. All right, because that's something I want to do, Moose exclaimed. He leapt on top of the ping-pong table and began jumping up and down. I don't think you can do that with a ping-pong table. Granted, the one we had in gym class was very heavy. I should know. I tried to carry it. Super Moose, he yelled. Stop it, you jerk, Mindy screamed. You're going to break the table. She covered her face with her hands. Super Moose, he chanted. I guess he is kind of slow. The ping-pong table swayed, then it sagged under his weight. He was even starting to get on my nerves now. Moose, get off, I wailed. Who's going to make me? He demanded. Then we all heard a loud, sharp crack. You're breaking it, Mindy shrieked. Get off! Moose scrambled off the table. He lurched toward me, holding his hands straight out like the zombie monster we've seen in Killer Zombie from Planet Zero on TV. I doubt it, but is this a real thing, like a movie or something? I'm gonna have to look this up later. Now I'm going to destroy you! Then he hurled himself at me. As he smashed into me, I staggered back and fell onto the dusty cement floor. Not like that could have accidentally hurt you and caused serious damage or anything. Moose jumped onto my stomach and pinned me down. Say Moose's tomatoes are the best, he ordered. He bounced up and down on my chest. Moose's, I wheezed. Tomat, I can't breathe, really, help. Say it, Moose insisted. He placed his powerful hands around my neck and squeezed. Is this guy insane? What the fuck is wrong with him? I gagged. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. My head rolled to the side. Moose! I heard Mindy shriek. Let him go! Let him go! What have you done to him? Chapter 3. Mindy, I moaned. Moose pulled his hands away from my throat and lifted his powerful body off my chest. What did you do to him, you big monster? Mindy shrieked. She knelt down by my side and bent over me. She brushed my hair from my eyes. I stopped and coughed weakly. Oh, god damn you. Okay, just fuck this book right now. Just fuck this book. Don't read it. Not only is it pointlessly long and boring, it's fucking stupid. And here's why it's stupid. What, Joe? What is it? Mindy demanded softly. You're a sucker! I exclaimed and burst out laughing. Mindy jerked her head back. You little weasel, I would say something else. Because framing the fact that you might be suffocating is not okay. Because what happens if you're actually suffocating and she doesn't bother to come and help you because she thinks you're being a dumbass? Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a brother and sister. Then they were watching the countdown or some shit, I don't remember what it was. And they saw a clip from a movie. They don't remember what the name of this movie is, or at least I don't. But they caught the phrase, is it safe? Because they both been to the dentist. A lot. And that's something that sticks in their heads. Is it safe? So anytime they're screwing around, they'll tell each other, is it safe? So then, the brother, knowing how to drive, and the sister in college, goes and picks her up one day. And while they're trying to turn to get home, At a very dangerous and not safe at all section, the brother asks his sister, "Is it safe?" The sister, confused by the fact that he's saying something stupid and silly at a very important time when it's needed to be, at the forefront of their mind, they need to safely cross the road, which is very busy and dangerous, by the way, is like, what do you mean, is it safe? Is it safe? Stop screwing around. What do you mean, is it safe? Don't say that to me. And this lasted for 5+ minutes while they argued, until it finally dawned onto the brother what he was saying. And since then, especially during very important moments, neither of them say, "Is it safe?" anymore. "What, Joe? What is it?" Mandy demanded softly. "You're a sucker!" I exclaimed and burst out laughing. "'Cause I'm an asshole." Mindy jerked her head back. "You little weasel." I would call him something else, 'cause he's an asshole. Tricked you, I cheered. "Way to go, dude." Moose grinned, because, that makes sense. I scrambled to my feet and slapped Moose a high five. "Sucker, sucker," we chanted over and over, because feigning getting attacked and nearly being suffocated, wow, I would call somebody's concern them being a sucker. Mindy folded her skinny arms in front of her and glared at us. "Not funny," she snapped. "I'm never going to believe another word you say. Never." Which will come up, hopefully, later in the book, and he really needs help, and she's gonna be like, "Yeah, you're full of shit. Go fuck yourself." And then you'll be like, "Well, I shouldn't have been a ginormous dick. Now I've shot myself in the foot." "Oh, I'm so scared," I said. I locked my knees together. "See, my knees are trembling." "I'm shaking too," Moose joined in, wiggling his whole body. "You guys are totally juvenile." Totally, like, oh my god, what the fuck? These guys are fucking morons. I wish Antoinette was here. I'd rather be talking to her than reading with this shit with Caleb. "Gee, thanks," she announced. "I'm out of here." She slid her hands into the pockets of her white shorts and stomped away. Why do I need to know they're white? Why can't you just say her shorts? But then she suddenly stopped a few feet from the stairs, in front of the high basement window, the window that looked out onto Mr. McCall's front yard. She stared up through the window's sheer white curtain for a second. She squinted her eyes, then she cried out, "No! Oh, no!" "Nice try," I replied, flicking a dust ball from the carpet in her direction. "There's nothing out there. I'm not falling for your lame trick." "No, it's Buster!" Mindy cried. "He's next door again." "Huh?" I sprinted to the window and jumped onto the chair. I yanked the flimsy curtain aside. Yes, there sat Buster in the middle of the vegetable patch that covered Mr. McCall's front yard. "Oh, wow, he's in the garden again," I murmured. "My garden! He'd better not be," Moose declared, stomping up behind me. He shoved me off the chair to take a look. "If my dad catches Buster in his vegetables, he'll turn that big mutton to mulch." Come on, hurry," Mindy pleaded, tugging on my arm. "We have to get Buster out of there right away before Moose Dad's catches him." Moose, Mindy, and I raced upstairs out the front door. We charged across our front lawn toward the McCall's house. At the edge of our lawn, we leaped across the line of yellow and white petunias that Dad had planted. It separates our yard from the McCall's garden. 'Cause you guys wouldn't have a fence or something? Not that you technically would need a fence, but, I mean, that would probably help then to keep the dog out. Granted, he could dig under it, but there are preventive measures for that. Minnie squeezed her fingernails deep into my arm. "Buster is digging," she cried. "He's going to destroy the melons." Why did we need a dash there? Buster's powerful front paws worked hard. He scraped at the dirt and green plants. Mud and leaves flew everywhere. "Stop that, Buster," Mindy pleaded. "Stop that now." Buster kept digging. as dogs are to do, so that's why you grab them by the collar and you haul their asses out. Moose glanced at his plastic wristwatch. "You'd better get that dog out here fast," he warned. "It's almost 6 o'clock. My dad comes out to water the garden at 6 sharp. "Then why aren't you fucking helping, asshole? Don't just stand there and like, oh, well, you better get that shit out of my garden. Dad's gonna be pissed." I'm terrified of Mr. McCall, I admit it. He's so big, he makes Moose look like a shrimp, and he's mean. Well, I would be too if there is a preventable way to keep this fucking dog out of your fucking garden. "Buster, get over here," I begged. Mindy and I both shouted to the dog, "Why don't you go fucking grab him and haul his ass back into your own yard? And then tell Dad to get a fucking fence." But Buster ignored our cries. "Don't just stand there. Why don't you pull that dumb mud out of there?" Moose demanded. "This is what I've been saying." I shook my head. "We can't. He's too big and stubborn. He won't budge. The three of you can probably do this. I reached under my t-shirt and searched for the shiny metal dog whistle I wear on a cord around my neck. "Why are you telling me about this now? Because suddenly you magically need this? You could have easily mentioned this beforehand, that you wear a dog whistle around your neck. Anyway, I wear it day and night, even under my pajamas. It's the only thing Buster will obey." "It's 2 minutes to 6, Moose warned, "because your dad would come out at 6 o'clock on the dot. Is he a drill sergeant or something?" Moose warned, checking his watch. "Dad will be out here any second." "Blow the whistle, Joe," Mindy cried. I brought the whistle up to my mouth and gave a long, hard blow. Moose snickered. "That whistle's broken," he said. "It didn't make a sound." "It's a dog whistle," Mindy replied in a superior tone, because she would have to be superior about everything. "It makes a really high-pitched sound. Dogs can hear them, but people can't, see?" She pointed to Buster, his nose out of the dirt, and pricked up his ears. I blew the whistle again. Buster shook the dirt from his fur. 30 seconds and counting, Moose told us. I blew the silent dog whistle one more time. "It's not silent." "Yes." Buster came trotting slowly towards us, wagging his stumpy tail. "Look, he's going to fucking know that the dog was in his garden regardless of what you do by now. He was digging away." "Hurry, Buster," I pleaded. "Hurry." I held my arms open wide. "Buster, run! Don't trot!" Mindy begged. Too late. We heard a loud scream. Moose's front door flew open and Mr. McCall stepped out. I'd say pass. This is more enraging than it is fun to read, and I don't really think you're gonna miss much of anything. Really nothing special or interesting about this. I'd rather strangle the characters than read more about them. So I'm Caleb, and this has been Red Knot. Thank you for listening. Bye!